Hi, and welcome to another edition of On the Town. I'm Don Mackey, and today I'm joined by Mr. Charlie Lockhart. Charlie is a resident of East Longmeadow, longtime resident of East Longmeadow. He's also a Navy veteran who served in the Pacific during World War II and was in Pearl Harbor on December 7th, 1941. Charlie, it's an honor to have you here. Thank you so much for coming. You were not raised in East Longmeadow.
No,
What, locally, nearby?
Chicopee.
Chicopee.
Yeah.
So tell us about Chicopee. You're 92 years old. So 92 years ago, what was life like for a kid growing up in Chicopee?
It's an ethnic town. You had all different ethnics.
Yep.
So you learned all different types of people and how to get along with them. Sisters and brothers married, Polish girls married French boys, and they mixed it up. But it was a good town to grow up in. There was a lot of sports. They had, each neighborhood had their own team. I think the Tigers is still going.
Right.
But they go way, way back. And,
Did you play a sport? Did you?
no, I didn't get into sports.
Didn't
no.
get into sports.
I wanted to be a boxer and
Really?
knock out Joe Louis. Can you imagine me with Joe Louis? He would just go. But we had our dreams.
And you went to school in Chicopee, public school in
No.
Chicopee?
Chicopee High and trade school.
And so how did you find your way into the Navy?
Well, I dropped out as soon as I was 16, and I went looking for a job. There were no jobs. So I went into the CC camp.
Civilian Conservation Corps.
Yeah, I was in a camp that was up at Mount Greylock. And I was up there for 6 months. And I had just signed over for another 6 months when that damn Hitler started a war. So I said, well, I better get in the Navy. I don't want to be in the trenches. The war started September the 1st. I was down at the recruiting office September the 2nd.
And you were how old?
With a fixed certificate.
So tell everybody a little bit more about that.
I was born in 1923. The 3 were released, and a 1 was put in with different ink. I said, I'm not going to get away with this. Well, what the hell? Let's try it anyway. Well, they took me. So I passed it then. I went back to the camp, and I got a letter. They want you to report to the Navy the 16th of October. So I went down there. I got home. My father got me a sign. He says, you're not old enough to go in the Navy. I said, but you left home when you were 16. That was the only defense I had. He says, when we got in that war, oh, Pa, we're too smart. We're not going to get sucked in again. He said, they can't beat Hitler. We're going to have to get in.
Right.
Just like that. Here's a guy can't read or write. Knows more than those damn fools in Washington, London, and Paris.
Right.
And he says, you'll be in the front lines. That's no Pop's losing it. There's no front lines in the Navy. Well, I would find out later on that Pop was right.
So were you saw this as an adventure? Did you see it as an opportunity to serve? An adventure, yeah.
Learn a trade, travel.
And weren't nervous or afraid at all?
Huh?
Weren't nervous or afraid at all of shipping out, going to sea? Ever been to sea? Ever been on a boat?
I went down and tasted the water to see if it was really salty. I was really a hick from the sticks. And it's salty.
Yes, it is.
I took my training at Newport, Rhode Island. I got leave around Christmas time. 10 days leave. We had our training. And I went home. And then I went back to Newport and got transferred to the San Francisco, which was in Norfolk, a heavy cruiser. We went down to where they got all those Arabs in Cuba. What the heck?
Oh, Guantanamo.
Guantanamo. And from Guantanamo, we went up to Mobile, Alabama, and it was Mardi Gras time.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But they had a Mardi Gras, not like the one in New Orleans, but they had a Mardi Gras too. And then from there, we went through the Panama Canal. I think you saw that in the fruit stands.
Yeah, well, I'd like to hear about the fruit stands again.
Well, there was 10 of us in the fire room, so they all went. So I followed the crowd
Now,
right over to Coconut Grove.
you speak in the fire room because you signed on and were down in the boiler room.
Huh?
You were in the boiler room.
Boiler room.
On boiler
yeah.
room.
They
Right.
call it the fire room.
Fire room.
We had 10 in the fire room. The whole 10 went right over there because they've been in and out of the canal many times. They knew where right to go. Coconut Grove, they called it. So I wondered, oh my God. Oh, is this real? The guy's got the biggest kid. I was only 16.
Right.
I said, it's like fruit stands. So they called me fruit stands for the next 6 months.
And you were still a kid at this point, 16 or 17 years old.
Yeah, I was still 16. It's around January or February. Then we went up to Long Beach, joined the fleet. And we're all talking one night about the war and politics. And this guy says, our war's going to be with Japan. You're crazy. Now, if you just stop to think, what were 8 battleships doing in the Pacific? You just had to put 2 and 2 together.
Right.
They weren't over there to threaten Hitler.
Right.
They were there to threaten Japan. And Japan knew it. And they were figuring what they were going to do about it.
Right.
So, from Long Beach, we went up to Washington, Bremerton, for overhaul. We marched in a parade. And the guy, when we were marching, the guy said, here comes the gang that's going to take care of Hitler. I'll never forget.
So had it begun to dawn on you that everything that what your father had
I
told you
figured
was right?
The war's over there. We got it made. So the fleet went down to Hawaii every year for maneuvers. So we went to Hawaii, and when they were done, Roosevelt said, stay there. Oh, they were wild. They didn't want to stay there. They had families back in the state,
Right.
and we stayed in Honolulu. That was to let Japan know, hey, you be a good boy.
Right.
Or you see an old battleship, you be careful. Yeah, they were careful.
Wow. And so you were still on the San Francisco at this point?
I was on the San Francisco.
Okay.
1940 and 1941. In July 1941, a fellow I went through the boot camp with, he came from Greenfield. He came down, he said, I'm going to China. I said, how did you manage that? The Houston, USS Houston, heavy cruiser was going to China, and he got aboard it. They needed a seaman, he volunteered. He said, they need a fireman. I said, we're going to China. So I went up to see the yoke. He said, it's taken. I went back to the log face, and this old sailor, my mentor, what's the matter with you? I said, I just missed out on going to China. He said, are you crazy? I said, why? He said, that's a powder keg. You want to be over there when it blows up? This is just an ordinary.
Right.
This was in July, 41.
41. So he knew what was coming.
Well, the Houston got sunk right away. First
Wow.
thing they sunk. And my friend survived. I would have went down with the ship.
Because you were down below.
Yeah, yeah. He ended up in a prisoner of war camp and
Oh, my.
died from abuse, starvation. I went up to where he lived and found out.
Yeah.
I didn't meet his family, but the VA had a record on it. That was the first time So, a couple of days later, the yeoman came down. You still got the transfer? I said, what do you got? He said, the Curtis. I said, what is it? Seaplane did. What do they do? Back and forth to the States. I'll take it. I had a girlfriend in the States, Simple Simon, in love. And so when I get on the Curtis, when are we going back to the States? We haven't been to the States in 6 months. Oh, God. I screwed up again. How many times are you going to screw up, Lockhart? So Indianapolis pulled up alongside of us. And I went over in the fire room. Hey, anybody want to swap? Yeah, I'll swap. I said, well, talk to your chief, I'll talk to mine. So I went into the chief engineer. His name was McLean. They called him Bull McLean. I said, there's a guy next door wants to swap with me. He said, get the hell out of here. You just came on the ship. Get out of here. Bull McLean. Indianapolis got sunk.
Right.
How many chances did you get?
I know, huh? Wow.
So went along. It was a good ship, good crew.
Now, a seaplane tender,
See,
it was a seaplane tender? So explain a little bit what that
we
does.
say we were mother hen for the flyers.
Okay.
Yeah, and maintained the planes.
Now, were the planes, so you had a bay where those planes
Yeah.
were on the ship for
Big
maintenance
hangar.
and, right.
So I went along. I got they were a good crew. A lot of rascals. They stole the booze, Admiral's booze, one night. We were having movies. All of a sudden, the movie stopped. Lights go on. What's going on? All the officers running around like chickens with their heads chopped off. What's going on? Somebody stole the Admiral's booze. They never found it. Yeah. 3 times that happened. Now that Admiral was McLean's grandfather.
Really?
By that senator?
Yeah.
His grandfather was the Admiral. His father was a submariner, and he was a flyer.
Huh.
But they never found the booze. And somebody had a good part. Well, December 6th, I went ashore to Waikiki Beach. I saw Charlie Chaplin in The Great Dictator.
And that was a
Went
Saturday
down the
night,
beach.
right? Saturday night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Went over on the beach. Because in those days, when the actors had got into embarrassing trouble, they shipped them to Honolulu till things cooled off. So you might see somebody. But I never did. Next morning, around 8 o'clock, there was a lot of commotion. And I looked out and I saw a plane drop a bomb on the airfield. Uh-oh. That's not good. So I rushed to my battle station, which was in the fire room, and I could hear our guns fire. We had good gunners. And my chief said, what the hell, what's the matter with you? I'm starting to pump. I said, we're at war. Somebody's bombing us up there. So we lit off the boilers, and I had it steam in 10 minutes. It's supposed to take 2 hours.
Wow.
Because we figured captains probably want to make a run for it,
Right.
which would have been suicide.
Yeah.
They would have sunk them right in the channel. But we were ready for them anyway. So we got through the first raid. They didn't bother us. But on the second, they hit us with a bomb.
And you were spared during that first raid because you were not.
They did everything they wanted in the first 5 minutes. They sunk all the battleships.
And they were in a different part of the
That's
harbor.
what they were after.
Yeah.
And so we got hit with the bomb. We spotted a submarine, 2-man submarine. They sunk that, and a plane crash dive on the ship. All this happened in 20 minutes.
Oh my goodness.
We lost a lot of men. Probably 20 got killed, there's probably 70 casualties. Well, we got through with that. Damage control almost turned the ship over. The water was going on the starboard, the port side. So they put all the ballast on the starboard side.
The water
And when
to put the fire
ship leveled
out.
off, all that extra water came up. We almost went over on the
Wow.
port side. But the oil king was down doing just the opposite those clowns were doing. He saved the ship. They got medals. He didn't get nothing. He knew what he was doing. One of them even got promoted as an officer. But they damn near turned us over. So anyway, we survived. We got out of it. And then when we were in on Guadalcanal. We were at Espiritu Santo, which was the main base. And they sunk 4 cruises one night, the Japanese. That was our fleet. They
Right.
sunk them. Wow. There was panic. And around October, there was a staff meeting, and all the department heads came from the meeting, and they didn't look happy. And every ship in the harbor left except us.
This is at Guadalcanal.
This was in Espiritu
Espiritu
Santo.
Santo. Okay.
It was the Battle of Santa something. My memory isn't so good. The Japanese the plan was to take Espiritu and cut off Guadalcanal. Santa something. Because I read later on about the war, and that was the plan, to take Espiritu. We would have all ended up prisoners of war.
Right.
But they left us there as the bait, the sacrificial goat. But they stopped them in that battle. I think we lost a carrier, sunk a couple of their carriers, but they didn't. So then we went island hopping, following Guam, Taiwan, I think it is. And I got transferred. A month after I got transferred, the war was almost over. They got hit by a kamikaze
Oh my.
right in my station. Somebody up there was looking at me.
Boy, I'll say, I mean, you.
Then the war ended and I came home. Got a job, got married, had a family. Ended up in East Long Meadow. 3 girls. They all got a good education. Had no problem getting into college. That's my life.
So, I guess Bruce asked me to ask you to relate a story about something alcohol from the torpedo tubes.
Oh, they would take the alcohol and distill it. If you had one rebel aboard ship, he knew how to make still. They knew blindfolded how to make a still. And they distilled it and they drank it. 200 proof. Whew. What a knockout punch that is. Wow.
Now, have you stayed in touch with anybody that you...
We had a group get together. We broke up because they're all dead. And the chaplain was still alive. And we got talking one day about women aboard ship. The chaplain was there. Well, I'll tell you a funny story he told us. He went ashore with the CPOs, the chaplain. And where did they end up in? But one of those places, with the chaplain. And he's sitting there, taking it all in. And one of the girls comes over, they told her.
He's the chaplain, yeah.
So she thought he was a priest. So she's bawling, me papa. So anyway, we're talking about women aboard ship. I said, well, you take a half a dozen women, they could take good care of the crew and be very profitable for them too. But I said, some damn fool would fall in love and you'd have a murder. The chaplain said, that's exactly what happened. He was a great guy. I got to love him. I hardly knew him on the ship. I got to know him at the region.
Afterwards.
He was telling me what he did. He was retired. He did wecks and funerals and weddings. And he said, at the weddings, I always kissed the bride. He said, one wedding, I kissed the bride and all the attendants. And my wife hollered, you better be careful, he's a dirty old man. And they said, that's the kind we like. And he got the biggest kick out of it.
And so you've been back to Pearl Harbor?
Yeah, I was back there a couple of years. The kids are going back next year. So if I'm around, I'm going with them. It'll be 75 years next year.
Wow.
I won't show them where we used to go.
No, not all the places anyway.
It's all boutique shops now.
Yeah, it's a lot different, but. Well,
What a town. It was a wide open town. Wide open. Like an old western town. I don't think it's that way now.
And a lot of those ports
I was
where
out there in 2000 and nothing like it used to be. No, there's not 100,000 sailors.
Right.
Soldiers and sailors. The business is gone.
So are you, overall, you thought you made the right choice picking the Navy over any of the other branches? You're happy you picked the Navy over any other
definitely.
branch? Yeah.
Yeah, more fun.
And you talked at the very beginning about growing up in Chicopee and being exposed to all those different cultures and people being familiar with, other ways of life and marrying into different...
I used to be able to swear in 3 different languages.
So there was certainly something about the experience you had in the Navy of traveling around the world and encountering different cultures.
We didn't see much. I mean, we didn't go to any foreign countries. We joined the Navy to see the world we saw the sea.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah,
But you
all
went
our
through-
ports were American. We never went into a foreign port. You know what the English said about the GIs? Oversexed, overpaid and over here. Did you hear that one? They loved it. The GIs, over second. So what else? I got an English friend. He was in the English Navy, and he met Churchill. He was only a kid. Churchill said, "How do you like the Navy?" He said, "I like it." Churchill said, "That's a damn lie. Nobody likes the Navy." I said, "That sounds like winning."
But it was okay with you. You liked the Navy.
Huh?
You liked the Navy.
I was going to make a career,
You were.
but I had a choice of the Navy or my wife. I made the right choice. Yeah. She was playing hard to get. And I said, if she says no this time, I'm going back in the Navy. She said yes. Here I am.
Now, was she from Chicopee? Did you know her?
She was from East Hartford.
East
I met
Hartford.
her on the train. I came home in 43.
Yeah.
I've been gone 4 years. I flew to New York and got on the train from New York, to New York and New Haven and Hartford. And there's this pretty girl struggling with her suitcase. So I, good to hear something. May I? She said, "Well, you paid for your fare, didn't you?" Oh, she arrogant. I put it up. And I went back and I saw it. And then I went up, I said, "You mind if I sit?" She said, "Well, you pay." She said, "I don't own this seat." So before we got to Hartford, I had her phone number. The rest is history.
Wow.
All she talked about on our first date was her boyfriend.
She was
It wasn't
really
easy.
No, I'm sure. Well, you'd been through Pearl Harbor. I guess if you could handle that, you could slog through the hard time she was giving you. She was just testing you, Charlie, right?
Huh.
She was just testing you. Wow. And when you came back, you worked at Fisk?
Utero.
Yep.
You call it the Fisk. Not very many people call it. Yeah. I had to get a license. I got a license. I got a job down there. I was there 34 years. I ended up chief. I had a first-class engineer's license. What killed me was the strikes. They'd go on strike and they'd pull out the foil. They'd pull out the boiler room. So I'd have to run the place myself. They'd send down help, but they didn't have, and they had to have a license. They would strike for the most stupid things. And they'd eventually settle for what they could get for settling.
Right.
They go out for 6 months, and they ended up getting what they were offered in the first. People lost their homes,
Yeah.
went bankrupt. And I lost 10 pounds in 1 week shoveling coal. I started shoveling coal, and I ended up shoveling coal.
Wow. For 34 years?
Yeah,
Wow.
with the strikes,
Yeah. When did you move to East Long Meadow?
1950. I live in a spade house.
And what made you come here?
I heard about it. Our milkman, his name was Warren. He ended up a cop out here. He told my wife, "Why don't you take a look at the houses in East Long Meadow?" So I came out and looked them over. I liked what I saw. So I got the wife to live. She did so. We bought one.
Very nice.
He was a milkman. They had milkman in those days. He used to deliver milk.
I remember milkmen.
Huh?
I remember milkmen.
And he'd stop and chat with my wife every day. And she told him, "We're looking for a house. We can't get what we want." He said, "Well, look at the ones in East London." Sure enough, they had just what she wanted. So out we came.
Nice. Same house that you're in now.
Same, 65, what is it? 65 years.
Wow.
They
And you're
have a
still
good
at home?
School system.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, they have a good school system, good politics. Kids all got a good education. They all went to college, no problems getting in. One PhD, one master's, grandsons of the PhD. So they got a good basic to
Yep.
go on, you know.
And you're
And
still.
I dropped out of the 8th grade.
And you. Well, what does that say about what your generation accomplished? You know. So you're still at home,
Yeah, I'm still there a lot.
and you're
I'm
busy.
a widower. Yeah.
You're busy, though. You go.
Well, I did a lot of volunteering. I slowed down. I did Meals on Wheels for 8 years. I'm still volunteering at the hospital. And I used to do a lot of volunteering at the senior center. Pick up bread and stuff like that at the Stop and Shop and give rides to senior citizens and stuff like that. I've slowed down a bit. Meals on Wheels was a lot of fun. I've helped them to put up curtains, and I've helped them to take down curtains, and I helped them off the floor.
So, your kids have done well. They're accomplished a lot. You've said your kids. What do you think you gave them, or what advice would you give to young people today about your experience, things that you learned that you think apply in today's world? The kids may or may not be
Don't
exposed
give
to.
up. Don't get discouraged. Give it your best. I know I was ready to go back in the Navy. Nobody would give me a job. You had to shovel coal. One guy said the job is dangerous. I said, what do you think was the last job I had? I mean, these chief engineers are the most arrogant people. Honest to God, I never saw anything. I ended up a chief myself. I don't think I was that way. But they were, oh, you're too soon. You got to shovel coal. So I can shovel coal. Pretty tough job. Well, give me time. Let me give me a shot at it.
Right.
I was ready to go back in the Navy.
Yeah.
If I hadn't made a promise to my wife to get married, I would have gone back in the Navy. I had it up to here with civilian life.
But it worked out okay for you.
Yeah.
So what's left on your list of things you would like to do? What would you like to do that you haven't done?
Marry a rich widow. You know them all, don't you? We were going over with my daughter what I plan on doing. And we would get all through, I said, you forgot plan B. What's that? Marry a rich widow.
Well, you never know, right? Buy a train ticket and see
Hey,
what you can
won't
come up
believe
with.
this. We have a soup kitchen. The last Friday of the month, we go down to the Congregational Church on Maple Street, and we cook and serve a meal. And this gal came in. I thought I was a teenager until she turned around, and she had a 65-year-old face. I couldn't believe it. The girls will come down and help too.
Yeah.
But I said, Jesus Christ, who's that kid? Until I saw the face. But that's fun. We do the shelter on Saturday, the second Saturday of the month. We'd serve lunch, cook and serve lunch. And we do the Congregational Church the last Friday night, cook and serve. And to me, it's a barrel of laughs.
Yeah. That's good. And you enjoy,
Yeah.
you like the kitchen? You like being in the kitchen?
Yeah, we
You
cook.
like to cook?
No, I've been doing that for 20 years.
Well, that's great. Well, so hopefully you'll have a plan to go out to Pearl Harbor again with your kids and
The kids are
see
going
the
next
kids?
year.
Yeah.
I said, keep me alive and I'll go. Go with you.
Well, that'll be a
I
that'll
won't
be a
show
great.
them where you can go. It's the palace, the Honolulu rooms. It's so funny the things you remember. The hotel, Senator Hotel. On sailors' payday, were they busy? God.
Well, Charlie, thank you very much for coming.
I hope I don't scare anybody.
I don't think so. So we'll have you come back after you go out to Pearl Harbor again
I'll
next
see
year.
if any of the girls are still aware.
All right.
They probably have
Bring a couple along.
They probably have an old folks home for 'em.
So that'll do it for this edition of On the Town. I'm Don Mackey. We'll see you next time. That'll do it for this edition.
You know, all the girls pitched right in after Pearl Harbor making bandages.
Really?
Yeah, they were all patriotic.
I'm sure they were.
One of them told me, I can do more for the boys working here than making bandages. You didn't hear that, did you? Yeah.
That'll do it for this
Well,
edition.
like the guy told my mother, I'd get a good education.
You can't go because you're wired to a microphone, Charlie. Yeah, I got to just hold tight for a second. Maybe we'll just do it after.